Hey everyone, this is Gary Kay. Welcome to another edition of my Rants and Raves videocast series. And today I'm joined with Maile Keone, who is the president and CEO of Listen Technologies. Maile, how are you?
I'm really well. How are you?
I'm doing well. We ran into each other really quickly at InfoComm, and then it took us, 3 or 4 months to schedule, or I should say 2 months to schedule a video cast because we both ended up being busy, and maybe you took some vacation time like I did. But I wanted to have you on for a plethora of reasons. First off, there are not a lot of president and CEOs in our industry that are women, and having two daughters, I selfishly am part of the generation that's trying to change that. So I wanted to kind of just first off kind of pose that question to you because there's a lot of women that'll watch this, a lot of women in our industry, and when I got in the industry, there were very few women in the industry, and I've gotten one of my daughters, to intern in the industry to get an interest in it. But how did you end up here?
Well, that's a bit of a fascinating story that I'll try and make short. But Russ Gentner, who stepped down about a year ago as our CEO and founder, so many people know Russ.
Oh yeah.
He hired me as a VP of marketing 10 years ago. Okay, so that alone speaks to a journey, right? From VP of marketing to CMO to vice president of sales and marketing, then chief revenue officer, then president, then CEO. It kind of shows you how stubborn I am. I just keep kind of hanging in there. But it also shows the ability of people in the industry to give opportunity. I'm a big believer in giving opportunity, promoting from within. We have a couple of people in our company at Listen who started as interns. One of them now runs our channel marketing division. So that goes to culture, right? It's culture about how you promote people. And women, I think, are challenged. I come from the technology industry and then into the audiovisual industry. But really, Russ just hired me from outside the industry, gave me a shot, and has been a tremendous mentor to me, given me a lot of opportunity.
And Listen actually has had some very strong women over the years that have come through the organization. You're not the only one, obviously. And it's funny that you say you had employees that start as interns. We have 3 women on our leadership team in our company. 2 of them started as an intern. So that's interesting that that they started that way as well.
Well, Corey Schaefer was a big mentor to me as well.
Yeah, to a lot of people.
Founder, yes, to a lot of people. And she taught me a lot about sales. I thought I knew a lot about sales, even though I came in on the marketing side. Just as everyone knows, a tremendous human being.
Yeah, and she's got a great story. Of course, she just retired, well-deserved retirement, and did some amazing things in the industry. I want to talk about a product that I've had I've actually used a number of times.
And we appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, the ListenTalk product, which if you don't know anything about the ListenTalk product, you should definitely check it out. It is the ultimate tour guide system, as I've always called it. It's here on the screen now. And basically what's cool about it is everyone has their own receiver, and there's a bunch of different ways you can do that now. But back in the early days, there was one type of receiver, but it's also a transmitter. So as a tour guide, I'm wearing a headset. And not only am I giving a tour, so in my case, I gave tours of show floors at trade shows, but they can also talk back to me, which is quite unique because in a trade show floor like InfoComm, where there's thousands of people, you're getting a more intimate experience. But I've seen this used in museums. I've seen it used in schools. And during the pandemic, I believe you told me offline that it has grown tremendously.
It's grown tremendously because it was used. It's funny. Sometimes you have a product and your customers inform how they're going to use it, right? You think, oh, it's going to be used in A, B, and C. And your customer goes, no, D, E, and F. And so our customers started using it as a social distancing product. So for manufacturing floors, for, again, tours, even for Gemba walks, or stand-ups, people would be using these so people could be apart and still communicate via the two-way system. And we just saw sales, we kept watching it going, okay, this has got to slow down, we thought at some point. And it's just been a really cool thing. There's a lot of names that I could say, but I won't. That are using this product, somebody that you probably get a box from every single day on your porch, and a lot of other companies. And so it's really it's been a great product for us.
Well, I mean, from that must have come a lot of ideas. I mean, back in the early days, like I saw y'all providing audio at gyms for people so that you have that bank of TVs and you get to decide which one to watch by dialing in a frequency on the treadmill that you're on, or the stair climber or Stairmaster you're on. But you do so many things, all the way to high-end professional audio install. Yep. Do you have different teams that do this, or is this just sort of all the same engineering genius?
Great question. Tracy Bathurst, who's our CTO, who has worked with Russ in former companies as well, is really the genius behind managing all of that. It takes a village. It takes a village to develop the product, to market it, to sell it, to package it, to ship it, to do customer service. I am always aware as a leader of the fact that it takes so many people to make a successful company. And so, Tracy really is the orchestrator, the leader of all of that. We have different people that we have on different teams. We do have kind of a unique way that we look at product. We have these things called SMP teams. That means sales, marketing, and product. So we have these small kind of tiger teams that focus on one product and then another product.
So it's collaborative.
It's very collaborative. And we started that a few years ago, and it's just been tremendously successful to see that cross collaboration.
Well, speaking of collaboration, obviously, since you're living it, you understand the complexity of trying to make someone who's not in a meeting room feel like they're part of the meeting when they're not in the meeting room and the rest of you are in the meeting room. What is Listen doing about that, and where do you see this kind of going?
So great question. We could talk about this for a couple of hours, because I think all leaders are grappling with remote, hybrid, or all in-person work, and great for our industry, right? We are audio visual folks. And so I think it's been a great boost to our industry to see kind of this trend of a little bit more work wherever is what I call it. Yeah. I love coffee shops. You can see I'm in my home, and you can't blur the background, so I apologize for how messy it is. You can tell I'm a reader. There's like bookshelves on three sides of the room, but I think it's just a tremendous opportunity. It gives us all an opportunity to weigh in on how we go to work, when we work. We've been very flexible during COVID. We sent everybody home like everybody did. We've been very flexible about when people come back. I'm a big in-person person. Mm-hmm. And I do believe that seeing people, going out and visiting dealers and distributors and customers is critical to the success of our industry. So I hope that turns the tide a little bit back towards where we were. Has this brought you some product ideas about how ways that Listen can help solve some of these problems? Should we expect to see greater penetration from Listen in the A side of AV? It's really interesting that you asked that. And if we were in the same space, I would say I could tell you, but I have to kill you. And then, but you're not within arm's reach, so I can't threaten. But I think you're going to see some fantastic things from Listen. We are very innovative, creative. I think a lot of people hunkered down over the last couple of years, and now kind of like travel is really just taking off. You're seeing the innovation take off again. And so, yes, we're developing some things that I think are going to be transformational. So it'll be a lot of fun to see that.
Well, I've always wondered why Listen hasn't gotten into the video side of the market. Is there a reason? Have y'all just decided you're going to be an audio company? Is it that you have partners that are doing the video and you feel like they are just, they're good enough on the video? Or what is because, a lot of companies are jumping sides, right? I mean, there's a lot of audio companies have gotten into video, and a lot of video companies now have added audio.
I'll tell you a quick story. So when I was 14 years old, I asked my dad if I could play on the basketball team. I already played on the volleyball team and I already played on the tennis team. And he said, pick one. You'll never be good at anything if you try to do too much. Mm-hmm. So it's the Mike Keone kind of rule of be really good at one thing. And I have stuck to that. I think it is a company philosophy that we want to be really great at audio. We want to be known for being really great at audio. Mm-hmm. It's not to say we would never consider it a great partnership. We love partnerships, but I think we're audio folks.
Yeah. I mean, and you're right. I mean, Russ came from one audio company, started another audio company, and Listen. And obviously you've got a major leadership position. Let me go back to the question I asked right up front. Do you have a mentorship program for women, and how do you, or even young people in our industry? One of the problems I see in our industry is not just the inequity of women to men in the industry, but also the fact that it's hard to get young people interested in our segment of the market. And we are all aging.
Yes, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I always say the alternative's not very good. I'm happy to age. That's a great question. And as an industry, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to bring young people in. We have a responsibility to diversity. It makes us all more successful. Mm-hmm. And so Listen does not officially have a mentoring program, but I'll tell you what I say to the young folks who may be watching this every single time. I speak to a lot of college classes. I'm on the board of what's called the Women Tech Council here in Utah. It's actually a national organization. Every single time I speak, I say the same thing. Just raise your hand. Like, I give my business cards out. I had 50 high school students in a conference room. I gave my business card as I was speaking to every single one of them. Do you know how many reached out? One.
Oh, that's sad.
One of those young women reached out and said, hey, can I shadow you for a day? Do you have an internship available? And I tell them that story every time. I say, I will give out 50 business cards, and I'd love for 25 or 50 of you to contact me, and I will make time to respond. And it's just how do we get over that hump is the bigger question for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's unfortunate to hear. At InfoComm, you got a lot of stuff on your booth. It looked like a normal show for you. Very busy. What was your favorite product that you showed there? What was the product that really got you charged to be at the show?
You know, I love ListenTalk. We've talked about ListenTalk, but I think Listen Everywhere, our Wi-Fi product, has so many great uses. Again, the customers are informing us where and how they're using that product. We even have individuals using it in their home, which is, not the intended use for it. But colleges and a lot of different vertical markets. And so that's an exciting product. When you can use your smartphone as a receiver, that's pretty cool. And we've been working on it for years. So to see it kind of start coming into its own and really maturing has been really gratifying.
Yeah, and I can personally speak to the fact that when you have a large lecture hall, when you have somebody that needs assistive listening, it is a much more comfortable way for them because they'd rather use their own device.
For sure, their own earbuds. Yeah. They don't have to turn.
And by the way, college students are all carrying around. You don't have to worry about whether they have it or not. They have it.
Exactly.
And I guess the only other thing I'd say is put it in a watch, right? I mean, so that I can tether off the watch. But well, look, first off, thanks for everything you've done in the industry. I'm excited for the future of Listen and seeing what y'all do. The advice is well taken, and that do what you do best. And obviously, Listen's had a long history in audio. It's funny because I remember Russ starting the company. I mean, I remember him deciding. We were literally in a cab. I don't know if he's ever told you the story, but he's like, I'll give you. I was at ISE. I was having a hard time getting a cab. He had ordered a car or a taxi ahead of time. He goes, I'll give you a ride. So he gave me a ride, and he and Corey were in there, and they were talking about this company they were going to do and what they were going to do. And boom, it all of a sudden happened. I don't even know if he remembers it was me in the car, but I didn't,
I'm going to ask him.
He should remember that taxi ride, but it's amazing to see the company. I was not surprised. We got Russ and Corey, it's going to be successful. And obviously you as a leader right now are doing some great things for not just the company, but also for the industry as someone that both women and young people can look up to, the way that you went through the company. And
I'll make the same offer. Anyone listening, I'm really easy to find on LinkedIn. Very, very. There's not very many. There's only one.
Right. Your name is unusual. There you go.
So look me up, and then I definitely want to thank Gary, you and your staff and your crew for being a supporter of Listen and all you do for the industry. Thank you so much.
Well, I've many times had you ship me those kits of 30 ListenTalk transmitters and receivers. To my events, and you've always provided them, and I really appreciate it.
And we always will. So
thank you very much. Well, we'll be requesting it here soon because we have a E4 experience event coming up here. I'm sure that
I missed those. I'm so sad I don't get to go anymore.
You should come to the one in Boston. It's going to be quite fun. And that's in October. But anyway, if you want to learn more about Listen Technologies, obviously you can check them out by just going to listentech.com or listentechnologies.com. Lots of different ways to get there. Just Google Listen and all AV. And of course, connect with Maile through LinkedIn as well.
Please.
So you might as well do that. So I want to thank you for joining for this episode of Rants and Raves. Of course, you can watch all of our podcasts and videocasts at ravepubs.com. Click on the radio or TV link to see, depending on what you want to see. And y'all have a great day, and thanks for watching. With Rants and Raves.